Young people, listen up. It's never too late to change your life.
This is Between the Breaks, a YMS informative and educational news show. In this episode, we tackle some of the misconceptions about being a student in Newark. With so many educational choices in Newark, public, magnet, and charter, it can be so easy to form misconceptions about the type of school you may attend. Or what as a student you may be labeled by people who don't know much about your school. Let's examine a few of these misconceptions, then get an expert opinion in the game we call So True or So Not True.
So not true.
Oh, true.
Not so true.
I think it's so not true. It doesn't depend on what school you go to. It depends on what you do and the resources you have and the education that they give you. So it's so not true.
That's not true.
So not true.
Not true. I mean, I've had plenty of experiences as a Newark educator, seeing successful students, through Facebook. You stay connected and you learn about all the things they're doing after they graduated from high school. In my current organizing job, I was in a daycare center where one of my former students happened to work, and she said to her administrator, if it wasn't for Ms. Owens, I wouldn't have passed the HESPA. So, I know that I have successful students, and there are successful students in Newark Public Schools.
So true. So true.
So not true.
Because some students think just because where they get educated, they won't amount to anything. So like say someone went to Westside, oh I go to Westside, it's a bad school, so I'm not going to do anything just to sit back and go with the flow.
But it's that same lack.
It's the mentality they
But
have.
it's the same lack of those resources that make you want to strive harder to be successful. So how could you even say that?
I like the question, like the statement said, some, not all, some.
Nope, I'm not going to disagree.
It's basically guessed on how that person feels about education. If he doesn't want to learn, then it's not, I'm not going to say it's not nothing that they can do that can, they can make him more comfortable in the environment and stuff like that, but if he doesn't want to come to school, if school is not, it's not for him, then he's not going to learn anything. So some, not all, though.
I think it's some in every school, not just in district schools. So.
I think that's a direct manifestation of the problems we have with our education system. I think we focus too much on the people that, like, the haves and not the have-nots. I think if, we really wanted everyone to, push, move forward and succeed, we wouldn't just kind of marginalize people. We would accept all and we would try to work with them and just give them the tools and resources to, just give them access to what they want to do with their lives. I'm pretty sure everyone has some type of goals, and it may not be intellectual, it can be artistic, it can be whatever, but I think people should strive to progress, and if it's not there, you could change that.
So true. Not so true.
So true.
It depends on who you have in that school to make it strict. Because my school personally, they try to have that upper hand, but at the same time, it's doesn't work out. So I'm gonna say so not true.
Just because it doesn't work out doesn't mean they implement it being strict. So true.
So not true because the school I go to is not, it's strict. I say it's not true because I go to Central High School and they're strict there. And then if they are strict there, if you think they are, it's actually kind of bad if you think about it. Because you're pushing the kids so much, I think. I don't know. It's just I'm done.
I think whatever needs to be done to enforce what needs to be done should be done. Do I think it changes the tone. Maybe for example, I've heard from North Star students that they're more based on, they're very serious about, discipline and getting the work done. I think there should also be more of a relationship with teachers, a more open one. So sometimes being too strict can cut away from that relationship. But if it's necessary, maybe if there's a school that's acting out, it all depends on the tone and the atmosphere of the school itself.
So not true.
Not true.
I think one of the problems with the educational system is it's kind of intended to be one size fits all. And I don't think one size ever fits all, even when they lie and they tell us the leggings one size fit all, and they really don't. It's the same thing with education. One size does not fit all. So everybody, you can't have, 15, 20 students in a class and expect that the way you delivered information to them reached everybody in the same way. So I think that we have to work harder and be creative in terms of how we teach and what we teach. I think that we have to start to teach things that are more relevant to students, and that keeps their interest, and have to be creative about how that happens. It has to be multi-levels. It can't just be in a classroom reading a book, pointing to a board, and then saying, okay, then go home and do this and then come back. It's got to be dynamic and engaging. So I think that as schools start to look at different ways, the whole educational system has to transform, but it happens in little pockets. So the other thing parents have to do, I think, and young people have to take some responsibility to not just be totally dependent on the school system. You have to find other ways to supplement that. So I think that learning is what you learn in the classroom and what you learn in life through experiences. And I think that's everybody's job to try to do that.
I think that we need to take into account the social economic conditions. If we're just talking about Newark and that percentage pertaining to Newark, then we need to look at the social economic conditions of these students. What sort of lives are they living outside of school? I think it's those factors that more often lead to them dropping out than just the actual academics themselves. Because I've seen and I've witnessed students who are absolutely brilliant, but because of factors outside of their control, having to take more of an adult role in their home because their parents aren't capable of doing what they should normally, quote unquote, do as an adult in that family, that has an effect on that student. And it's not about that student not being, academically capable. So we need to take into account what's happening outside of the school walls, give students those resources so that they don't have to have those sort of stresses and they can actually focus on their academics.
We hope we've given you more to think about. Now tell us your thoughts on Twitter and Facebook.
Finding people, listen up. It's never too late to change your life. So don't